Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a long-term market outlook on Theta token and kind of giving my insight on where I think this is headed. So if you are new to the channel and you want to show some support, please leave a like and subscribe. So the first thing I want to start off with is kind of identifying a channel that we've been in for quite some time now. And you can see how, for over a year, we've kind of just been in this downward trending channel where the support and the resistance are both downward sloping, and price has kind of just been oscillating between these levels and grinding lower. So this is a very long-term trend. We've been in this trend for about 58 weeks. So obviously very significant. And, I think you could look to maybe this region right here as some area that we could see some sort of bounce and support, because back in December of 2020, this is where we kind of consolidated and condensed for a few weeks before ultimately kicking off another amazing leg right here with a 600% return in just 7 weeks. So this could potentially provide some sort of bounce and relief to this downtrend. And I think if you want to be bullish on this, you got to see a strong bounce that takes us out of this channel and maybe holding this as support, or forming some sort of higher low. That is definitely what you want to be looking out for, because otherwise you could just assume that this trend is going to continue, right? It looks the same as when it did here, right? Where you could just see some sort of continuation and follow through of this trend, because over the long term, when you have a trend this strong, your safest bet is just to assume the trend's going to continue, because it is where the momentum is headed. So I would say a break of this downward resistance, a lower high, and taking out some of these intermediate term highs would be phenomenal, and it would kind of signify the end of this long-term downtrend. And after the end of a long-term downtrend, you can really pick up some momentum to the upside and bring back a lot of investors and interest. So I'm going to transition to the Theta Bitcoin chart now. Excuse me. And you can see how it's pretty similar in nature, in that it's declining, it's pretty consistent, and the highs are lower than the previous highs and the lows are lower as well. So this is going to be comparing Theta to Bitcoin. So it shows if Theta is outperforming Bitcoin or underperforming Bitcoin. So as you can see, over the last few months, we have been underperforming Bitcoin quite significantly. We are actually down 78%. So if you are looking to get a position in this, you could consider that it is a tremendous discount, and we are at some sort of support here where we kind of had this block where we were consolidating before another major leg up, right? We saw this on the USD pair, and it's kind of similar in nature to the Bitcoin pair, just because of how volatile this move was. And you can draw this back a bit. You could see how, okay, this was some sort of resistance in May of 2020. This was kind of where we topped out in September of 2020. And then, ultimately, this is kind of where we had this kind of cluster of price action where we consolidated, condensed, and ultimately broke out to the upside on a massive rally. So this could be an area where you could see some support, some sort of relief bounce. Again, this is a pretty strong downtrend, so you do want to see us break above this downtrend, because otherwise you could just assume the trend's going to continue. So if you see something like this, where you see some higher lows forming, and you take out a lot of these intermediate term highs, that would be phenomenal for price action, and you could see how we could form this new trend, this uptrend, kind of breaking this longer term downward resistance. So that is what I'm looking for. If you want to be bullish on this, you definitely want to see support being held, and you want to see this downward resistance being broken, because otherwise you could just assume, all right, we're going to continue this downtrend, and we'll be at this lower region here in a few weeks. So I would definitely consider this, and I would look out for some sort of evidence that we've broken the downward resistance, both on the Bitcoin pair and the USD pair. And that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and as always, I will see you in the next one.